There was numerous ones like that around. There was one on Price Road that we used to get our drinking water from because our well was just a dug well with no liner. And it was absolutely fresh, beautiful water, but it's now gone too, so.
That is my lovely guest this week, Charlie Pickard, and this is What About the Wetlands, a podcast where we talk all about everything wetland related on Vancouver Island. I'm Taryn Pickard, your host, and this week I sit down with Charlie, who happens to be my father-in-law, and discuss what it's like to actually use and work on a piece of property that has wetlands on it. So we get into depth about how things have changed on this property over the past 60 years, what he's done with this property, and how he sees it now as it is currently functioning. I really enjoyed sitting down with him and chatting about this, and I really hope that you enjoy it too. Look at you, you're getting interviewed on camera.
You look great.
Yeah.
Took a lot of coaxing to get you here, but you're here.
Hi, I'm Charlie Pickard. This is my hobby farm. I've lived here for roughly 35 years, and yeah.
What do you do for work?
I'm a carpenter builder. I've had a company for 43 years, and semi-retired now, trying to retire.
So you say that you've been on this property for, would you just say you've lived here for 35 years?
35 years, but actually we've been on the property for 60 years.
So it was like your parents owned it before you owned it,
Yes,
right? So you're second generation?
I grew up on the farm from age 8 roughly.
Okay. And then you guys built the big house that you're living in now,
We
right?
built a new house for Mom and Dad. The old house was very rough, no insulation, with one little wood heater, and we built their new house in '77, and it was pretty luxurious for them. and then we bought the property the rest of the property in '93, and split off 1.5 acres for them. So it was a 20-acre piece, and we built our own house, and yeah, we've been here ever since. And raised our 4 sons here.
So we're here on this property mainly because Charlie is actually my father-in-law.
Yes, she is my daughter-in-law.
Lucky Charlie.
Yeah.
And this property is, again, about 20 acres. It's super cool, actually, because there's so many different ecosystems in such a small space. There's like beautiful big forest out back. There's a couple of like swampy, wetlandy areas, and then there's also a big farm field. So Charlie's essentially been using wetland functionally as a farmer for all those years, and your family has as well, right?
Yes, yeah. We have a large pond that we dug. It's runoff only off the property, and there's a field that floods for 9 months of the year, roughly 2 acres, that we leave as habitat for frogs, and the blackbirds nest in it, and numerous kinds of ducks come into the pond. So yeah, it's quite nice to watch. The heron comes in and eats bullfrogs, which is good, and yeah, so it's quite entertaining. There's the eagle nest very close, and so they try to catch the odd duck unaware, but yeah, and they do catch the odd frog.
Yeah, and there's been what, river otters?
We've had a river otter here. We've had a oyster catcher, I believe it was.
A coot?
A coot it was, yes. And for about 4 months it lived here, which was very strange to see. That was the only one we've ever seen here. But we usually have at least 1 hatch of ducklings here, of mallards. We keep the geese out. We chase them every time they show up, just because they're very messy around for the cows. They can't graze on the field because there's goose crap everywhere. So, so yeah, we try to keep them out of here because they are not they're an introduced species, the strain of geese that are here.
So as far as water goes, like, I've been part of this whole thing for like 15 years. You've been here almost 60 on and off. How much have you seen the way that the water moves on the land change?
Well, for our own drinking water, we had a drilled well which was roughly 90 feet. It was 3 feet from the surface. Is now, the water has changed. It has gone some smell of some sort, taste, plugs filters up, and the water table has dropped at least 25 feet since we moved here, so it's quite a bit. And we now have a dug well, and it's holding quite well, and it's not the best water, but it's a lot better water. So we do have quite a few filter systems on it, just to keep it clean.
So how many years have you had to do the filtering?
Well, we always had reverse osmosis on the drilled well because it was dissolved sodium in it, and the parts per million were a little higher than government regulations. And since the water started changing, we've done numerous different filter systems. It's very costly. We change our filter about once a month. 2 large filters plus the UV filter on there, and we have a sand and gravel filter also on it. And it's a salt brine that cleans it. So it all adds up for cost. So.
Yeah, that's a lot of filters on it.
Yeah, and most people around are having to do some filtering around now. Yeah.
Is there any theory about why the water changed, as far as you know?
I have a theory, but there's a dairy farm closer to the mountain from behind us. They do a lot of irrigation, so they're pumping out of wells all the time into a big pond. And I think that has dropped our table quite a bit. So that's what I think. But yeah, it's not just our water, though. There's a lot of people complaining about their water throughout the area. So it's the water table definitely has dropped. The hot, dry summers don't help at all. We've always done haying here, and through the years we used to get maybe 5 days of good weather to get our hay in, and then it would rain. Now we can do 2 months and not getting rain, so there's quite a difference.
Yeah, and the pond gets pretty close to drying up now.
It does go down quite a ways. I did enlarge it quite a bit, so we had more volume, and it has helped. And yeah, so that's our irrigation for our gardens.
So have you, like, I don't remember how many years ago now it was, but one of the neighbors decided that they wanted to get rid of all the water on their land, so they dammed places and the roads were flooding, and you guys got a lot more water.
We're the lowest point on the ditch, and we had a neighbor who decided that didn't want any water on their property, even though the ditch was dug in the 30s as a make work project, and it drained through that property. It was plugged up, and we then had a foot of water over our driveway and over the area, over Grafton Avenue. So it was quite a mess. For numerous months we had that, so we lost a lot of trees and lost some soil and everything too. So.
And that area wasn't really wet beforehand, right? Like
It's always been wet after a snow melt. With a heavy rain, we've always had the field back up, but within 2 or 3 days it would be gone again. And now it's, and so they did a new ditch system, spent millions of dollars on it, and didn't solve the problem. And so we still have flooding every winter. Yeah, so it's kind of a joke. Yeah.
So you've seen like the water sit quite a bit longer throughout
Yes,
the winter.
it sits for months now.
Right.
It doesn't drain away. Yeah. There was a culvert under the road right in front of our field that used to take some of the water away, and that was taken out years ago by the highways. So yeah, there's been no further ditching or anything that's solved any problems.
Have you noticed that there's a difference in what will grow in that front field now that
We used to market garden it in the summer. My parents did, just for extra income. And now you can't even get on it to put a crop in. It stays wet so long. Yeah. So it's a rough pasture for the cows, is all it is.
Are there any other areas on the property that have changed that way?
We have another neighbor who's filled in a swamp and has blocked off the flow of water. And it was a tea brush swamp, so it was a couple acres. And now he's put about 5 feet of fill in it, and he's planning on putting trailers in there. He hasn't got any permitting or anything, so yeah, it's kind of a pain.
And so there's like wetter areas close
So
to
I've
that.
got another area of a pasture field that we also put gardens in. It's about half an acre, and now that's just weeds, and it's there's water standing there for most of the year.
That's the one just right over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. So some days it's a losing battle.
So other than those two areas, so those were both market gardens. You're saying that wasn't.
They were
pasture.
they were extra income for my parents.
Right, an extra food for you, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we always helped our parents with the gardening when they did big gardens, and we'd pick feed sackfuls of peas and things, and they'd give a lot of it away. So they didn't make much money.
So, like, how many years ago did you see that kind of start to shift where the water was sitting? Is it recent?
Probably within the last 15, 20 years. Things have changed somewhat, but in the last 10 years, when the weather started getting hotter summers, we had one dry winter and 2 hot summers, and that really changed. We lost a few hundred cedar trees in our back bush, though everybody seems to have lost a lot of cedars. So I cut them and milled them up so they weren't wasted. But yeah, that's definitely been about the last 10 years that things have really changed.
To me, it seems like things have leveled out now. Like, it seems like the cedars that died, like, there hasn't been a lot more.
There's quite a few of the
since then.
cedars. They died about 2/3 of the way down, and then they maintain their growth at the bottom. But I just cut some down the other day for a customer, and they were dead around the outside below the bark, and there was just one little spot that was green still.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's what's happened, I think, with most of them. And they're probably, if we get too much heat again, they'll probably die. So yeah, I hate cutting them down, but it's, yeah.
Have you noticed any change with, like, the water sitting in the forest? Because I know there's, like, a lot of ephemeral pools, like seasonal
Yeah, I
pools
put a
back
couple
there.
little ponds out in the back, just a couple feet deep. Just one of the mallards nests out there by it, and then cows drink out of one of them for most of the summer before it dries up. So it's, but other than that, we get too much water and then too much heat, and where it used to be a little more balanced out, the weather patterns.
So you're definitely seeing that, like, the weather is the biggest thing that's kind of
I
influencing
think,
things.
yeah, I think so. There's a lot more development, of course, but you know, every time somebody cuts down an acre or two of trees, it's the water retention is not there anymore, so it just floods across the surface, and we're getting a lot more water from the Arrington store area and farther afield where it all runs this way. And there's been some little subdivisions gone in with pavement, and so that water's got to go somewhere, and it seems to go into the ditches, and then it runs this way.
What's the coolest thing you've seen come to visit here, or like your favorite species that you see show up on the land?
We did have a couple swans come into the pond, but they have a hard time getting out because of the trees around.
Oh.
They only did it at one time. We get a resident bear comes through quite often. There is a half dozen deer live in the area here, so and then the otter we did see come in, and he was eating the bullfrogs, which was good. And we do have the odd mink comes in. But,
I still want to know where that otter came from, because it's not like there's like creeks or rivers.
They followed the ditches
close.
all the way up, I guess.
Guess so.
Yeah. Yeah, it was surprising to see.
That was, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he stayed for like a few days too.
yeah,
didn't
he did. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that because we were living next door at the time, and yeah, that was super cool. Same
Yeah.
with that coot. He was pretty friendly.
Yeah, he wasn't afraid of anybody, and it was pretty neat to see. And then the heron a month ago came in and got a large bullfrog, and he speared it, I guess, and then he proceeded to hit it on the ground and everything to try and eat it. He managed to eat it in the end, so that was quite something to see.
How long ago did the bullfrogs show up? Because they're an invasive species. So.
The bullfrogs were introduced here, I think in the 30s, by somebody who was going to make their fortune on frogs' legs. And of course the frogs proceeded to leave the pond in a hurry. So they spread across the area. And first time we noticed them, we had a little pond and we had ducks in it. And the ducklings were disappearing feet first. And so finally we saw this frog, and so we had an old pellet gun, so we tried to shoot it, and it just bounced off of it. And so Dad came down with a shotgun and shot it. And it ended up at UBC in their science facility there. And that was the first we'd ever seen them. But it was about stretching out about 12 inches long when you held it up. So it was a pretty big frog. Yeah.
And you've had them ever since then?
And they've been here ever since. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Even though we have cleaned the pond out completely a couple times, and they just appear again. So yeah, there's just too many areas now that they live around. So there's ponds across the road, and
yeah, they come back pretty quick.
Yeah,
right?
they do. Yeah. Yeah, one day we heard a thumping on the house, and we were wondering what the heck it was, and it was a frog trying to come through the garage door, but the door was closed. And he was just jumping against the door. Yeah, so they're not too swift.
That's pretty funny. And I remember when there was that couple living here that were shooting them and trying to eat them.
Yes, they
Freezing
decided
legs.
to have frogs' legs, so we caught a bunch of frogs, went out with a canoe at night with a flashlight, and they don't jump, they just sit there in the light. And so they were netting them up, and so they learned how to skin them and take the legs off, which was very quick. But they were on a kitchen counter in a bowl, and about an hour later, and they were still twitching. So they had muscle memory, and it was just...
That's a long time.
Yeah, so they battered them up, and we tried them, and they taste like fishy chicken, which wasn't very appetizing. Yeah. So yeah, that was my one and only try.
That's hilarious. So when you were younger, before like the areas that have newly started flooding, before they started flooding, how many areas had water on them here?
There's a few large swamps here of 20 acres or more.
Like in the area?
Yes, and that's one of the ones that now floods into our place. Whether somebody broke the beaver dam or what, I don't know. But there was numerous people had little ponds, but they dried up. You know, they were only a few feet deep. But we used to have a box spring. It was 3 feet by 3 feet and 3 feet deep. That was just down in one of the fields, and that had water all summer in it. And of course now it's been gone for a long time. There was numerous ones like that around. There was one on Price Road that we used to get our drinking water from, because our well was just a dug well with no liner. And it was absolutely fresh, beautiful water, but it's now gone too, so just because the water table has dropped so much.
Yeah, there was that spring in the back field, or in the back forest too, that used to run all year round and seems to only run like
it definitely, everything is, that's where we put our new well out there, and we seem to have caught a stream somewhere there. We witched 2 different streams and dug there, but hopefully it's going to continue to be good. It's a very costly expenditure to go 1,200 feet with all the piping and wiring and everything else.
So when you were a kid, you guys didn't really have any water like directly on site here so much?
No, there was a dug well that went dry in the summer, so we hauled water. Always got drinking water from either Englishman River Falls or that spring. We did a lot of bathing in the rivers. There was definitely different times.
Yeah, so that's a big change then to have as much water sitting here
Yeah,
as
yeah,
there is.
yeah. There was no ponds here when we moved here to speak of. There was the one little one about a foot and a half deep. That was it. I don't know. Somebody with a cat, I guess, pushed down to the hard pan, and that was it.
So how long ago did you guys dig this one then?
It's been in there about 20 years at least. Yeah. When we bought the place, my dad was still doing some hobby farming. So he used the farm for another 10 years after we bought it. And then he got too old to do the farming, and we took over. And he had sheep and cows, but we just have a few cows. The sheep are a lot of work.
Sheep are?
Yeah.
You guys had like pheasants or something?
We had,
too, didn't you?
my brother was really into fancy poultry and pheasants. Dad more the pheasants, so we had about 12 kinds of pheasants, 35 varieties of bantams, and about 15 varieties of standard poultry. So there was a lot of birds here, and then geese and ducks, and yeah, the odd turkey.
That's a good variety.
Yeah.
Surprised you still eat chicken at this point, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
yeah. It's the chicken was better than some of the other things.
Yeah.
We used to have pigs here also. We had up to 50 piglets running loose,
Oh, wow.
and we had a border collie that decided it was going to herd them. Well, it laid there, and the pigs came over and pulled her tail, and yeah, it was pretty funny to.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we grew up with 8 kids in my family, so there was Mom was always baking and cooking, and then doing her gardening, and she loved her flowers, so she did a lot of flowers and sold that flowers, and she painted also, and so she sold that at the Arrington Market for years, and yeah, so it was a form of income because my dad got injured at about 55 and never worked again. And they had no pension, so they had a veteran's pension they lived on and paid the mortgage on the house that they built. So it was very tough for them.
And now there's 2 houses on that piece of property.
Yeah, and then we took the old barn and made it into a shop first when we moved here. And then we turned it into a rental. And so we've had a renter there for numerous years. So there is two houses on the well system.
So have you seen the population change a lot in the past, I don't know, even like 30 years?
When I was a kid here, I had a paper route. I had 7 papers on it, and I went about about 5 miles every morning before school. So it was it's spread out. Now there's a lot of houses. There's a Christmas tree farm. It was roughly 1,200 acres, and that's all housing now, 5-acre pieces, and numerous other little spots that people have put subdivisions in. Everybody's on well, everybody's on septic out here, so you got to be careful with keeping septic away from wells. And
Yeah, I don't know what the population is officially now, but it's definitely larger than 7. So.
yeah, no, it was a pretty quiet place when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The only traffic was in the summer going to English River Falls. That was
Well, yeah, even Logan talks about as a kid having like 1 car go by in a day or whatever.
Yeah, no, we could do what we wanted when we were kids pretty well. We could just hop on a bike and go for a ride anywhere and not have to worry about traffic or anybody being a problem, and it's sure changed there.
Yeah, it's like a mini highway coming through here now.
Yeah, yeah. And because it's a straight road, it's quite often a speedway, and it always has been.
Yeah.
It's pretty poor. It's ALR land, but it's pretty poor land. We have about 7 different kinds of soil on it. The 6 acres of bush is all mostly gravelly, rocky. There's a few large rocks deposited by the glacier. There's one out there about 10 feet. So it's a pretty good sized rock. And yeah, trying to farm a field here, when you plow it, you pick rocks for quite a while.
Yeah, all your boys have stories of picking rocks
Yeah.
off the field as kids.
Yeah, no, we cleared most of the fields. When I was growing up as a teenager, I was out there with an axe falling trees, and it was just as fun.
Yeah, so now at this point you have a couple of cows, you've got still land for hay, and then
yeah.
you've got your own like personal home garden, right?
Yes, yeah, and I like gardening, so we do. I have roses and etc. So rhodos. This is their a bit of a hobby. So, but yeah, we do roughly 600 bales of hay off the field a year, and that mostly feeds. It'll feed 3 head of cattle, and so now I'm down to 2. So I sold a bit this year, and so won't have any calves this year. We'll have them next year again. So
That's not too bad being able to like feed 3 head. I mean, like,
yeah,
you're not eating a full head between 2 of you either.
No, we have our own beef, which is the only reason we really keep it going. But it's a lot nicer tasting than grocery store beef.
For sure. Much healthier too.
Yeah, we do grain them a little bit, just in the evenings through the winter, but the rest of the time they're on pasture, and they seem to do quite well.
I don't know, do you want to define a wetland? I asked everybody else this question, but everyone else is like
It's an area that retains water throughout the year. A low-lying area. There is numerous ones in the area, very small, like an acre or 2 acres or whatever, or smaller. But for the most of the year, they will hold water. This one tea brush swamp I was saying that got filled in, it was water in there for probably 10 months of the year. And so it's, he wasn't allowed to fill it in, but
it happened anyway.
It happened anyway, so yeah, that's what happens out here a lot. Is people just do what they want to do and then ask for forgiveness later, and yeah. So it's.
Do any of yours hold water year round, other than like potentially the pond?
Main pond does,
just the pond.
But the other ones they'll dry up in August, sort of thing, July, August. Yeah, we do get a lot of runoff from the properties behind us, so that's what runs through our place and into our pond, and then it runs out of there when it fills up.
Do you ever think of building more infrastructure to hold more water and turn more of your property into a wetland, since you already have
I thought of making the flooded field into a large pond, but it's a habitat for the small, I guess they're called the peeper frogs. They come out in the spring, and it's deafening outside at night. It's getting less now because I guess the bullfrogs are eating a lot of them. But if I made that into a big pond, well then, that habitat would be gone. The bullfrogs would take right over then.
They're very good at that.
Yes, you think you clean them out, and then there's another 1,000 there. So it's amazing how they reproduce. Their egg sacs are a huge area; they'll cover 3 feet, and it's surprising how heavy they are. I don't know if they all lay in the same spot or what, but I've pulled them out with a shovel a few times, and yeah, it's quite a mess of jelly there. But yeah, if the more the trees are here, the more the moisture will retain, of course. But everybody's clears their own little spot, and they want an opening so they can see things, and so they do clear it. But a lot of the farms around the area, there used to be, I think, 29 dairy farms in the area. There's now, I think, 2 or 3. So a lot of those farms some have grown back into trees. I know the next door was cleared fields, and now there's pine trees 40 feet tall there. So so they just let it go back to trees again. And so there's a lot of. It's hard to say what's going to continue if people plant more trees again or not. But some of the areas have kept their trees, which is nice. But there's still everywhere there's a house, there's potential for more water runoff.
So is that what you would hope to see in the area, is more tree growth and retention?
Or maintaining what's here now. I don't like to cut down my trees, but I use it as a wood lot, so when one dies or something falls over or whatever, I cut it for firewood.
Right.
And yeah, so, but it's nice to go for a walk out there, as you know. And yeah, see the hummingbirds' nests or whatever's out there, and the robins.
So is there any advice that you could think of for people who want to live kind of both using the land for like their own survival and keeping it fairly natural?
It's pretty hard to survive in a bush, so
Yeah,
people
true.
do have to make fields in our society. Beef or pork or whatever is the choice. I know with my parents being here all this time, they did live off the land. They made enough off of it to live on, and it was a trial, but it's because it's not good land. It's not where you can get in the Fraser Valley where you can just take a plow and plow it and work it, and you don't have to get off the tractor. You know, it's here you have to pick rocks a lot, and they just seem to grow. So yeah, so that's a bit of an issue with Arrington. There's a lot of different types of ground here, lots of gravelly areas, and very few good farms. So with soil that's actually workable. And you have to feed the farms, the fields. They don't grow very well unless you fertilize of some sort. So, you know.
Yeah, so it's not rich soils.
No, it's not at all. No.
Forest soils. Well, anything else you want to say? Anything else you got to contribute?
It's just been a good place to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoyed it here. And we are sort of tied to the land because we've always been in farming, my family, and we enjoy working. So it's as you get older, you don't enjoy it so much, but it has been a lot of fun. Yeah, and a good place to raise kids. So.
Yeah, you got the next generation, the grandkids hanging out here too.
Yeah.
Elby's even behind the camera, helping being the production assistant and listening to Grandpa. You're not even 7 yet.
No.
You're 3 days away from your 7th birthday.
2 days away.
Or 2 days, yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's been really cool for me to hang out on this property too, and even see how it's changed over the last 15 years. Because yeah, I've seen a lot of water show up and kind of sit too. Like,
yeah. This time of year now, we've had a lot of rain.
Yeah, and that forest especially is so incredible, and it's so nice to be able to bring the kids back there and bring them to like the front pond and show them all the different animals just outside their window. It's really powerful, I think. So. Yeah,
it's surprising how dry it gets now down deep. When you dig a hole, it's dry, and it's not like moisture in the soil itself. So that's part of the problem we've been having. Is the rain is the ground is baking, I guess, with all the heat.
Yeah.
And it's like I say, it's not very good soil here. There's some areas 6 inches of soil, then a foot of clay, and then hard pan. So it's it doesn't have much of an area to collect.
Right. So. Huh. Cool. Well, thank you very much for doing this.
You're welcome.
I know you didn't want to, but you did a great job.
I'm not somebody who likes to be in front of the crowd.
No, but this is pretty cool, I think, to share this legacy with. You've got your 4th generation on the property at this point, so
yes.
that's pretty cool. It's pretty rare these days.
Yeah, no, it's
and a lot of change in those years too. So
definitely has been, yes.
Yeah.